Hey everyone, so we have another relationship spread here. This again is with the Witch's Tarot deck. One of my favorite tarot decks, yay. Okay, so we have the Tower card here, which is always, whoa. Whenever I see this card, it's very like, could be a catastrophe coming up, a breakup of a relationship, something just comes to light that's either quite shocking, or just something like completely unexpected that just kind of blows your mind. Could be any one of those things. So, I want to emphasize here and now that the Tower is not always a bad thing. A lot of times it brings to light something that just kind of changes your worldview or viewpoint, but it's not necessarily bad. It's all, really how people look at it. And then other times it can be looked on as, catastrophic, but that's not always the case. So please, just remember that for the future. If you ever see it in your deck, don't panic. A lot of times it can be something quite minor. It's just more of like a change in the mind or internal, type of thing. All right, so then there's the star card right next to it. So remember, we're looking at always the cards next to it. The tarot functions as more of a chain link where each card influences the other. So when there's the tower and then the star right next to it, wow, that's great hope. They found out something that was rather shocking, but that gave them great hope. And so that's what they're looking at for the future. Must have something to do with their friends. The Three of Cups is right next to the Star card. So maybe their friends told them something that gave them great hope, like was very surprising. But it looks like it's a good thing, whatever it is. Then we've got the Hangman, the Hermit, and the Nine of Wands. So it looks like somebody's spending some time alone here. They need some space and solitude to themselves, maybe after they heard something quite surprising or shocking. So they're just kind of in limbo, waiting and spending some time alone, taking some space to themselves. They're keeping kind of on the defensive, maintaining their boundary, which is the Nine of Wands. So again, we have the Hangman, the Hermit, which shows that they're taking space to themselves and meditating on something. And then finally, the Nine of Wands, which means that they're maintaining their boundary. They're kind of on the defensive a little bit, just, being careful about what their next move might be. And then we have here the Ten of Wands, which means that, whatever this thing is, it seems like in their love life, they're kind of stressed out about the relationship, because what we have here is the Two of Cups, which indicates a relationship or some sort of dating situation going on. However, I would say this relationship is probably going to be going on for a while, because I do see that there is the Ten of Wands right next to the Two of Cups, and that indicates that one of the partners, or both, but usually one, is taking on a heavier load than the other. Maybe they feel like they love the other partner more than the other person does. Or they feel like they're handling most of what's going on in the relationship and the other person's really not there. Maybe they feel like the partner is kind of halfway out the door when it comes to commitment wise. But I'm just seeing that, one of them feels really burdened by what's going on in the relationship. And then we've got also the Seven of Wands, which indicates that there's some sort of competition for this relationship. Maybe one of the people, is just extremely attractive and they're getting a lot of attention from, others out there. And therefore the person within the relationship, their partner, feels like, oh, I've got to compete for this person's attention. When actually a lot of the times it's not the case, that they don't have to compete, but a lot of people feel like they do. But in the end, the Seven of Wands indicates that they are the winner, that they are, on top, kind of on top of the mountain and beating everybody else down. They are the triumphant person in that battle. They win the game, that kind of thing. These are all meanings for the Seven of Wands. They are the competitor, but they are also the winner. So that's pretty much it for this particular tarot reading spread. Thanks so much for listening, and you have a great rest of your day. Take care.